afternoon, everyone. It is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. The time is 4:28 p.m. and I call the regular meeting of the Board of Estimate and Contract to order. Clerk Walters, can you please call the roll?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Controller Morton,
Present.
Council President Gleason,
Here.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Okay, we can proceed with the agenda.
Okay. Okay, under resolutions approving ordinances, item number 1, an ordinance authorizing the amendment to section 4A of the CSEA Memorandum of Agreement entitled Clothing Allowance, paying fire inspectors.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Okay. Item number 2, Department of Management Services, an ordinance authorizing the request for proposals, RFP, for an audiovisual solution for the City Council chambers, committee room, and memorial room.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Item number 3, an ordinance authorizing the mayor's attendance at the National League of Cities, which titles Opportunity Solutions Forum, May 8, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? On the question, I have been asked by the National League of Cities to be a presenter on a panel for the Opportunity Solutions Forum. They have an overwhelming number of people that are registered and some who will be doing it online. They will be doing 3 panels on the 8th and then a small cities presentation and conversation on the 9th. And so Mount Vernon has participated in several of their learning cohorts. And based on our participation in their learning cohorts, we've been able to access some federal grants, the largest one being the Department of Transportation grant for almost $300,000. It's a planning grant for us to look at complete streets, which is something that we want to adopt. And so they want me to kind of talk about how small cities can go through learning and take advantage of the infrastructure hub trainings to secure money. It's much harder for smaller cities with not big grant, departments and infrastructures to go after some of this money. So they want to lift us up as an example. So roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 4, an ordinance authorizing the mayor's attendance at the U.S. Conference of Mayors. Title is Homelessness Task Force Conference, April 28th through the 30th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, I serve as the Vice Chair of the United States Conference of Mayors Health, Human Services and Youth Commission. Well, Youth, Health and Human Services it's a standing committee of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. While Mount Vernon does not have tent cities, like some other communities have tent cities, we still have homeless issues. We still have we have one of the highest numbers of people kind of looking at eviction, or percentages of residents looking at eviction here in the county. And so we don't have tent cities. We don't want to have tent cities. And so, this is really working with HUD to find ways to expand some of the subsidies and continue to support families that are precariously perched on the brink of homelessness, from falling over that line, and then to address those who are doubled and tripled up, as we know a lot of are, and who, are in and out of shelters, how to address that. And again, us being a smaller city and me having 30 years of housing experience and understanding of these services, I will be participating in that and bringing the learnings and some of the best practices back to Mount Vernon. If no questions, other questions, roll call?
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 5, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Westchester County Youth Bureau and New York State Office of Children and Family Services to fund a fun-filled summer. The grant amount is $8,837 for the period July 1, 2024 through August 31st, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Okay. Item number 6, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a retroactive agreement and accept a grant award from the New York State Office of Children and Family Services through the Office of the Westchester County Youth Bureau. Grant amount is $20,576 for the contract period October 1, 2023 through September 30th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
I just want to say that I know, we talk about retroactive, but sometimes they will award monies that go backwards, and so
Yeah.
that's why this wasn't adopted before October 1st.
Item number 7, an ordinance authorizing the amendment of the position title in the 2024 Fire Department budget from crime analyst to fire EMS operations analyst. That's it.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Okay. Item number 8, an ordinance authorizing the attendance of one member of service at DCJS FBI Advanced Crisis Negotiation Course, April 22 through April 26, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? If none, roll call? Hearing none, roll call?
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Okay. Item,
Number 9.
yes.
All right, I'm gonna move that you take 9 through all training.
Yep. Okay, okay.
12 is that to 13.
9 to 13.
Oh, I thought you said 9 to 11, okay.
Right.
Okay, do we have a motion to take items 9 through 13 as a block vote?
I make a motion to take 9 through
Well,
13.
13 is different. That's not training, right?
Read technique.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
Okay, I was reading. I'll make a motion to take items 9 through 13.
Oh, wait a minute,
As a
sorry.
What?
Yeah, because, what's going on with 10?
Oh, yeah, that is.
So
So
9, so 9,
9,
11, 12, 13. All right.
Yes.
I thought I had moved.
Okay,
I'm moving.
second.
Okay. So we'll have a roll call on taking 9, 11, 12, and 13 as a block vote. Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
aye.
Thank you. Okay, item number 9, an ordinance authorizing attendance for one member of service at the DCJS Firearms Instructor Course, April 12th through April 26th, 2024. Item number 11, an ordinance authorizing attendance at the REACH Technique of Investigative Interviewing and Advanced Interrogation Course, April 30th through May 3rd, 2024. Item number 12, an ordinance authorizing attendance at the Reed Technique of Investigative Interviewing and Interrogation Course, December 2nd through December 5, 2024. And item number 13, an ordinance authorizing attendance at the Empowering Leadership Seminar, April 25, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, as you can see, we're trying to do a lot of training in our public safety department. We just went through and received our reaccreditation for the next 5 years. And one of the things that they were most impressed with was the amount of training that we participate in. And as we send people out to get trained, they come back and they have to train within the department. So, having more trainers and people who are kind of certified in these are very helpful. And with so many kind of changing laws and reforms, we want to make sure that we stay current.
Yeah.
Stay very current on the adjustments and changes that are being made around public safety and enforcement. So. Okay, roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we're moving back to item number 10. Item number 10. An ordinance authorizing the renewal of an annual contract between Business Electronics and the City of Mount Vernon Police Department, contract period July 1, 2024 through June 30th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, item number 14, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of serial bonds for collective bargaining wage, CBA stipulation settlement obligations.
So moved.
Second.
On the question?
So, as we know, we settled the wage portion of contract agreements for 3 of the 4 unions. After, of course, there had been similar done with the fire department previously. The 3 unions, of course, the Civil Service Employees Association, the Police Benevolent Association, and the Teamsters for the 456 Teamsters. For the years covering 2018 to 2023, which of course included retro pays for those years based upon the percentage for each of those years. And as part of the discussion, it was that we were to determine what was going to be a payout kind of schedule for that amount of overtime. Amount of retro pay. The retro pay total, as I estimate, is at the conclusion of 2023 was that it is a cost of $15.8 billion. And so we knew that it would be a multiple year kind of repay. And so in working with our bond counsel and our financial advisors, that we have, I have submitted to the council, and they have approved for us to at least go out. The issuance of a bond, funding to cover this up to the total amount. Doesn't mean that we are actually going to be going out for the total amount, because there's a number of variables that factor into this. Of course, it is our current financial kind of status, which, last year we were able to get $3.2 million in a band. We don't know how the market will look at us now. We've done some good cleanup of our finances. We are still not complete with our audits. We anticipate that any day now that 2017 will be issued. We finalized the management letter and the corrective action plan for that. And so that should be issued out in the next week or so. So that will help, stabilizing some of our debt outside of course, the additional debt that we actually incurred over the last year or so. And then also paying down some, the debt, right? And also the consistent payments of some of those things like the school district money that we had owed out. So all of these will be factors in which the financial market will look at to see what they may be willing to. Of course, our financial advisor and our bond counsel believe that, we'll be able to do something. We don't know what that will be. And so while the request was for the council, for me to the council to go out for up to the 15 million. We recognize that it may fall anywhere in between none to some, to greater than some, to all of it, right? I did also provide at least the worst case scenario as it pertains to the payment plan and the payment schedule, that if we did get the $15.8 million, what it would look like. And basically, someone may ask the question, well, why even attempt to do this, not knowing? And then two, isn't this going to cause more of hurt to our taxpayers? And the answer to that question is, one, we do it because we cannot act as if we're ostriches with our heads in the sand that this is going to go away. So therefore, we need to make sure that we try to solve it, and we know that our employees deserve it, so we might as well do it. The second is to those two-part question, is that what we also do know is that based upon the calculation, we right now have budgeted in the 2024 budget close to almost $3 million, I guess, for these payments, things of that sort, right? And salary adjustments and that sort and so on. Based upon the schedule, our payment back would be somewhere between 1.5 to 1.6 or 7 million dollars. So basically what I would end up doing is transferring, reallocating money from that line into a debt service line to pay that off, while still giving us a little bit of room to not even deal with what we'll have to discuss with the fire department, as well as what we'll have to discuss with the other three unions for 2024, 25, 26, right? And so it actually is a smart financial move to do this so that we can minimize the impact on this. And I want to be clear, because I explained this to somebody the other day, very slowly, actually, at a diner here in Mount Vernon. And so I was eating, and they came up and wanted to know, and so they sat with me. I explained this to them, that had we stayed current with the contracts, we would not be in this jam. But because it was not done previously, we are in the situation we are in. What we don't want to do is also do what was done to us, which is keep kicking the can down the road.
Continue.
And the best thing to do is to try to deal with these things as much as we can from a manageable way, and make some very smart kind of decisions, around them. In addition to the fact that we did not keep up with the contract negotiations previously, we also had some financial raping, that is, of our fund balance, right? The reality of it is, and we're right now with our auditors having conversations about 2018, which is going to probably, the way it looks, is going to show up to be a very, very devastating financial year for the city. But in that year, what also was then levied on the city was a $4-point-something million actual judgment for a bad deal by a previous mayor, right? And so we're clear that it happened underneath of Clinton Young's administration, where they basically came in, and the reason why I said a financial reaping of it is that the reality is that they came into the account,
And they took
contacted the bank, and just took the $4 some million out.
Who did
And
it?
it's the federal government,
Oh.
the court, the court did it. The court.
There was a plaintiff.
Yeah, it was a
In the
plaintiff.
federal
Well,
government.
well, it wasn't the federal.
Yeah,
It was the court. The court ordered it.
Right.
It was the plaintiff. The plaintiff was Gizzo,
Mhm.
right?
Salvatore.
Salvatore Gizzo was the plaintiff to it, but the court basically ordered that it had to be to seize the funds. Okay.
And so that probably went back almost 10 years.
Not that.
No.
2008 to 2012 is when he served, right? What did he serve? He got out of
I believe
office,
it happened.
He got out of office in 12,
right?
and so
Yes.
yeah, he got out
That
of
was an
office.
old lawsuit.
That was an old,
Yeah.
that was an old one, yeah. So that in itself kind of contributed to what right now we are what seems to be, let me say it that way, what seems to be about a $13 million ish deficit of that in that one year, right?
In 2018?
2018 seems to be. Now, again, I'll say it again. Unaudited numbers yet. We're still in the middle of the audit. Things may change somehow, somewhat in that. But it was so astonishing, the number, that the auditor said to us, can y'all go back and redo that and look at that and kind of really make sure, double, triple check all of the records to make sure that somebody didn't transpose some number somewhere, something, because it just kind of stood out. You know, so that combined with the fact that we had not done this is why we kind of are where we are, because I'll go back to my story. So the woman asked me, well, how did we get here? How is it possible that we could possibly owe $15 million in retro? And that's the answer to the question, right? It's a
That was
combination.
15.8 million for those 3 unions.
Right, for those three, and you gotta add on the
Retro
forget,
that we had to do for the fire for those 4 years and
which
the
was about
retro,
six.
which was about
6, 7, something like that, because we
because they
paid
had 4,433.
right, because we paid
Compound.
at least 4 million or so, at least 4 million to the fire in 2023. And we had made, I think, 1 or 2 other payments prior to that.
And then
So,
we solved and cured 4, 5, 6, 2013 through 2017 differential.
or 456 and for CSEA. So I mean, so that's all, I mean, all of these things are part of kind of the story. And so, yeah, that's kind of where we are, why we are doing this. I mean, and again, we are hopeful because we have done a good job in the last 2 years of reporting out, of paying bills, of managing a lot with little resources, with bringing in revenue to help to supplement the operation kind of the city itself. You know, and of course, we still have some more work to do because again, you know, we had a very, very challenging 2023 year, and you'll hear more about that once the reports come out, and the mayor also gives reports on it. But it was a very challenging year because there were some debts and things that got paid also in 2023 that belonged to previous years and all of that. So there's a lot of this that has happened. However, that's the reason for this. So in case, and I'm sorry, I may have taken that long, but I think that it's important. But still, even with me explaining that, there's gonna be a whole
Who's
lot of
gonna
people ain't gonna get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And I thank you, Comptroller Morton, for taking out the time to explain that. You know, and it's interesting because transparency is one of the most overused words now. Everywhere. Be transparent, be transparent. That people they want to hear the details. But the truth of transparency sometimes is scarier than the lie, right? It's easier to believe the lie and it's easier to wrap your head around something ain't right. Now, they said this and they detailed it and they've written it and the story hasn't changed and it stayed consistent than to believe the hard truth of the reality. It is reality we went 6 years without contracts. It is a reality that we settled a judgment with the fire department for a 4-year contract. It is a reality that after going into a 6-year contract with 3 of the 4 unions, we're still out of contract. And that after paying retro to fire, we're 2 years and we're now in the 3rd year out of contract with them. And it is hard for people to believe that it's not there or that there is no magic answer. There's no beanstalk that Jack is not throwing beans and climbing up and finding things. And so I thank you and your office for drilling down, for researching every possibility. I thank you. I thank the council. I was interviewed and someone asked me in the interview what do I think was my greatest accomplishment as mayor in my first term. And I said, I think the greatest accomplishment is mayor in the first term. And it's not something I did by myself. I did it with the support of our controller, and I've done it with support of our council. And I'm saying the second controller in 22, 23. And that is reestablishing the credibility of government, right? That sounds so lame. You know, I could have said, oh, Memorial Field is open, or we've paved streets, or we got, right? But we wouldn't have been able to do any of that if our government partners, if other funders did not see us as being credible, right?
Government.
And operating government, like standing as the people say, we stood on business, right? We stood on business. That's the word. Exactly. Standing on business. We stood on business. And so Jackie's over there. But you know that you call a thing. We stood on business. And oftentimes to the misunderstanding of many and to the questioning, and we've made the hard decisions that and we picked up the can and banged the dents out of the can that had been kicked. And that's not easy. And I've said before that it takes a lot of the 2 things I had to develop the most of during that first term, and I'm still working on now, is confidence and courage. Confidence that after researching everything that you're making the right decision. And then the courage to carry it out, because many people have researched.
And not to be burnt out.
And that's, many people have researched the right decisions, but when you research those decisions, you sit there and you was like, we absolutely can't do this. We can't do this. And we found ourselves at that crossroad on many times like, oh my God, this is political suicide. This is this is that. But it's the courage to make the decision once you've done the research, right? Lots of people take 5 years doing strategic plans and doing comprehensive, but then you don't follow anything that the document has told you, right? Because again, it's hard to follow through on what you found that may not be easy for people to digest. So I thank you, you know, the controller's office and the body of the council. Even when we didn't always agree on how we got there or why we got there or how we were going to get there, we agreed that we had to make the right decisions and the hard decisions for Mount Vernon. And it took us coming back to the drawing board over and over again, and late nights and weekends and sacrifices to come up with those. And, you know, while we are doing better because we can see our way, right? There's still rapids and choppy seas ahead. And I appreciate the people that y'all ain't throwing the oars in the water. That you just don't see the waves ahead and say, I ain't rowing, right?
That's a good analogy.
Adjusted. Yeah, I mean, look, I used to do whitewater rafting and, you know, you see the people that get scared, they just hunker down, and there's others that are sitting there trying
Yeah.
to row and keep it and trying to keep control in the midst of what's going on. And so, I just want to say thank you. And the fact that without a bond rating, you could even work with bond counsel to say, yeah, let's issue it, right? Let's issue it and would see what comes of it. And it is not easy carrying the credibility of a city on your back. It is not. It is not. I had to tell a lawyer today, when I signed for that ARPA money and I was the only person who could, I had to put a phone against my face while it took like 180 point picture of my face, of facial recognition. Should I ever try and do something wrong? And that's what you're doing. You sign in a position, but if you don't do the right things in those positions, that messes up your credibility and potentially your freedom, right? Credibility ain't the only thing that we're putting on the line. It could be freedom. And so I just wanted to stop, and I took as much time as you explained it to say, and because sometimes people don't appreciate what has to be done. And heavy is the head that wears the crown. We ain't asking nobody to throw a parade, and we're not martyrs, but we're working hard to try and fix what hadn't been addressed and try. But they say you have to deal with what you inherited. You have to manage the realities of now, and you have to forecast and plan for the future. And you have to do them all at the same time, right? And so it's an equal weight that we're trying to balance. So thank you. Now, we'll leave it there. Roll
Well,
call.
I just want to say one thing. I want to also compliment you, Mayor, and this is not blowing smoke. I think we've all sat down at the table and been very unhappy about certain things. You know what I mean? And to be able to actually walk away from the table and know that the next day you can come back in, have those same discussions and be emotionally intelligent, not walk away having hurt feelings, because a lot of people walk away from a situation having hurt feelings. And it just doesn't make any sense. It's not about you personally. It's about how we can move this city forward. This is a very difficult job that I think, and I'm not disparaging anybody in the past, I just think that when you have an active council, an active comptroller, an active mayor, that I'll say what Corporation Council says, we're doing a lot of stuff. It's very hard to keep up with. I get it. So we have to find other ways to be able to get these things done, doing them completely. And I can't wait for you to get back to the table for the police, get back to the table for a fire department and the other unions so that we can actually on a yearly basis or going forward 3 or 4 years, however,
Be ahead of it.
be ahead of it. We did it at the library. We were able to do that, succinctly. And I know that with this team, that we're able, and it's a team, because one cannot do without all three factions of government, right? And if you don't have the right people and the right employees to want to see and believe in you and get it done, then you can't. So, it's a compliment to you to be able to pull us all together too. I think that was, that's really important, and Comptroller Morton also. So I just wanted to say on behalf of the council, it's great to be able to disagree. It's great to be able to create, and it's great to get everything done. So,
and in a city of Mount Vernon, that is 4 square miles, a city that we were all born and raised in, a city where we went to school with people who we have to sit across the table from and bargain and negotiate and pray that they believe us, right? So we were able to get the deals with police, Teamsters and CSCA done. Because, while they wanted parity, they, it took a lot, but they finally, understood that we weren't able to do what happened with fire. And so when fire got over 4, they got over 6, right? And that didn't always feel good for them to say, no, we'll go 1-1-2-2-4-4 and not 4-4-2-2-1-1, because it makes a big financial difference, right?
Yeah.
It makes a big financial difference in the retro pay, like retro pay, I think at one time he was looking at it, could have been more than $20 million, right? And so the projected potential retro pay was in excess of $20 million, right? And we were able to get it to a 15.8. That's huge. That's huge. And that happened because the unions worked with us, right?
Collaboration.
It happened because of collaboration. They did it without a repayment of retro schedule in place, right? And so here we are, 3 months out from, and almost 4 months from when we signed those agreements. And so, that's been the question. We was like, let's not stop the progress going forward, trying to figure out how to deal with the retro, like, please no. And so thank you, like I said, because that took a lot of extra work in your office and in your staff. And I see you here later on Sundays after church. Yes, you're a pastor, but I see you after church. But like a lot of pastors get to go home and go to bed after you've preached and done all that, you come to City Hall and you work, right? You work and you could be out preaching somewhere and getting a good stipend. But you're coming back here and doing it for free and working. And so thank you. Thank you for the unions for working with us in reaching the deals that we have reached so far. And know that we do not take your retro lightly, but we, don't want to just sit there and throw numbers to shut people up and kick it down the can. And then when we get there and we can't meet what you obligated yourself to, then it turns into something different.
Yeah.
Right. So I know there's some frustration. People like, when are they getting their retro, pay them their, we are working on a solution that is not going to kill them and is not going to kill the city at the same time. We can't just throw caution to the wind and do the things that are just politically popular. We have, governance has to be the issue. So it's been a lot, and I'll leave it there. And roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we're still under resolutions approving ordinances, item number 15. And ordinance authorizing attendance at the 2024 Motorola Public Safety Summit. The Commissioner and Chief of Public Safety to attend from April 28, 2024 through May 2nd, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? I know that, like we said, we attend trainings to learn things, but we're also understanding that we're living in a digital age. And one of the things that we've been able to utilize well here in the city of Mount Vernon, are cameras, and we definitely want to expand our camera net. We want to expand license plate readers. We want to expand the use of body cams, which we brought in body cams because it protects the public, it protects the police. So, public safety is just very technology based. And, so again, this is going to be something that's going to allow them to go out, just as we went and looked at, I'm not forgetting where we went last
Aware.
December. No, we went out to Nevada, somewhere.
Oh, yes, you did.
And saw some other technology, looking for the right technology because, really, I went to Dubai. And while I was in Dubai for that week, there was cameras everywhere and I saw police nowhere, right?
Right.
There are police,
Right.
but the camera net was so real that you do something, the police will be waiting for you when you get home, right? I mean, and even the ambush they had on Fifth Avenue and, all of that was, and we're at like an 85% solvability rate or higher for homicides, and a lot of that's been due to technology. Complaints are down, or unfounded complaints are processed quicker because, again, body cams and technology. And so, we're trying to move forward in improving the level of safety in the city, and not just reducing crime, but increasing people's confidence in a safe community,
Mhm.
right? Because our homicide numbers can go down, or the number of shots fired can go down, but people still say there are shootings every day. I mean, that never matches. The narrative of what people say never matches the data because there's just such a feeling. So, we have to figure out what makes the community safe and at the same time, what also helps people to feel safer. Because we could not have a homicide for 3 years and you're still going to have a lot of people who just don't feel safe. So we want to improve safety and reduce violence, but we want to also increase people's feeling of safety in the community. So if there are no questions, roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
All right, moving on to subheading settlements. Item number 16, settling the claim of Dwayne Renew.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Okay, if there's none, roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you. This concludes your agenda items for today, Madam Mayor.
Okay, is there any new business, any announcement? Anything, Brian?
You're gonna make a motion to go into the executive session?
Well, that's,
I make a motion to go into executive session to speak on legal matters.
yes, so before we vote on that, my state of the city was originally scheduled for today and we moved it to tomorrow because today is election day. Please go out and vote. Today is election day. It's a Republican and Democratic primary.
Right.
And for delegates to go to the respective conventions. So please go out and vote today. If you have not done so, doing early voting. And on my state of the city, I will be postponing my state of the city. It is not a decision that's been made easily. I kind of like to see myself as the superwoman and the energizer who can keep going and run through walls while telling everyone to take care of themselves. But I'm not at my top space right now physically. And so I am postponing it. I didn't want to say through unforeseen circumstances, I don't feel well. And in a day where it's been saying that sometimes it's okay to say you're not fully okay,
Yep.
I'm not at 100%.
Yep.
Right. And I think the community deserves me to deliver an address at higher level than I am right now. And so it will be postponed. We will be putting out several clips over the next week or so, and then we will be scheduling the time where I will be able to stand, keyword, and fully deliver it in the way that I feel that the community deserves. And more importantly, the city has done, and my team, this team, from leadership down to community level, has done amazing work. And I want to be able to lift up the amazing work that they've done at full steam. And I'm not at full steam. And so I think my staff deserves for me to deliver it in the way that they deliver the work they do every day. And so that's it.
And you deserve to be healthy.
Yeah.
Stay healthy.
That's really important.
Thank
You know that.
I know I'm good at telling people to do it. I am not always good at taking my own advice, and it was not easy. Right. But I, like I said, I could stand up there and deliver it, but I can't deliver it in a way that I know is worthy of the work and the sacrifice that people have made when they show up and they do their work every day. So.
Okay. Want to make a motion to go into executive session?
Okay,
Talk about legal matters?
okay. Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you. The time is 5:13 p.m. Exec session.